So when you and I were talking about this program, we talked about experiencing the presence, experiencing spirit, experiencing universal love. And we both, it seemed to me, kind of both went, all right, let's just call it experiencing God. But there was that sense of, oh, what kind of trouble are we getting ourselves into? So I thought, let's go there, right? Why is the G word such a big deal?
To me, I think it's because people interpret it differently, and there doesn't seem to be a consensus as to what it is.
Yeah.
And that is one of the issues, that the G word is a big word, because it means so many different things to so many people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think part of it, to my mind, is because it is so linked to religion. And for some people, that's beautiful.
Yes.
To some people, the link to religion is the beauty of the word. To some people, it's proprietary to their religion. To some people, it's indicative of a certain mentality of an us and them. It's childhood memories of being told, God will get you if you don't eat your beans, or what,
exactly.
or whatever. And yet, for me, like, one of the things that I hope comes of this conversation that we're having with people is that it stops seeming like quite such a big deal. Because to my mind, the essence of this conversation is, you are God, but it's no big deal, because so am I.
Yes. See, to me, that's exactly what it means. You are God, I am God, we're all God, we're all expressing God through us. And we are Godding, we think we're humaning, but we're actually Godding. We're all expressions of God. But why I sometimes, I would hesitate in saying it, because it seems to offend some factions of people when we say that. Not everybody accepts it. Also, I always have to make it clear, if I say, yes, I am God, I know I'm God, but then I know you are too. And we have to make sure that that comes across, otherwise people kind of immediately think, who do you think you are, calling yourself God?
Yeah, and I think it's a very egalitarian statement. It levels the playing field.
Yes.
Right? I'm God, you're God. It's God talking to God, about God, for God.
Yes.
Right? That's the conversation. It's not God talking to little people, right? And I think that's, I tell you, for me, when I kind of got over the word a little bit. So I was teaching in a sort of one of those workshops where there's a lot of different teachers, and the person hosting the event was an Orthodox Jewish rabbi. And there were speakers from all different religions and from no religions. And the audience was split, like in an Orthodox church temple thing. I should know the answer to that one. But men on one side, women on the other, and normals in the middle, right? And I remember being baffled, because this was a seminar about inclusivity. This was a seminar about, it was genuinely, and it was beautiful, but I could not understand how, on the one hand, this rabbi could host this amazing multicultural, multi-faith, no faith to multi-faith meeting, but still have these very orthodox ways of doing it. And I asked him to tea, and we had tea together, and we talked about it, and he was very open about it. And he said, as it happens, I believe every word in the Bible is true. He said, I think there were stone tablets, I think there was an ark with animals on it, and it ran aground. He said, but I think my job as a spiritual leader is to wake people up to their souls. He said, and if I can do that through my religion, I love to do that through my religion. But not everybody will hear it through my religion. And it's more important to me that people wake up to their spiritual selves, to their souls, than that they do it my way. And not only did I love that, not only did I have, my respect for him just is unbounded, but I realized that I had thrown the baby out with the bathwater. I realized that I had thrown God out with the strictures of what seemed to me an archaic set of arbitrary rules for how to live. And I didn't know that till that moment. And that was probably the moment where I stopped seeing myself as a rational atheist with spiritual leanings. And God became totally acceptable as a way of being in this conversation about what's behind the human experience. What is the deepest aspect of ourselves? Who are we?
See, that's beautiful. I love that. Now, with me, it was the other way around, in that you were speaking earlier about starting out as a pure scientist, and your mother was an atheist and so on. With me, it was the other way around. I never had a problem with the word God. But when I had the near-death experience, so prior to that, I used to think of God as somebody external to me.
Yeah.
Somebody separate from me. Somebody who did the judging.
Well, somebody.
Somebody, yes. And I even gave God a gender. It was a male gender.
I guessed it was, but I just, wanted to hear you say it.
And it was only when I died, when I had the near-death experience, did I realize that God has no gender, because God has no biology. There's no physical biology because there's no need for reproduction in that realm. It's something we have. When I was in the other realm, I realized that I had created a God in our image. And we all do that. I mean, not all of us who believe in an impersonal God. We all do that. And I realized that in actuality, we are God. It felt as though I had merged with God and I became God. And it was the first time I realized that even when I am in the physical body, I am a facet of God expressing as Anita, as a woman in this particular lifetime as Anita. But God in and of itself has no gender. Every gender, whether male, female, transgender, gay, straight, doesn't matter. Everyone is equal. It is God's eye view is totally egalitarian. And it took my near-death experience to realize that. I had never had a problem with the word God before, but I started to realize that when I expressed my story and I used the word God, immediately the kind of questions I was getting from people was, so what did God look like? Did you meet God? Did you look God in the eyes? So
can you get him a message?
Yes. And so I was getting these kinds of questions when I was using the term God to describe the all that is. To me, God is everything. It's the positive, it's the negative, it's the love, it's the fear. All of it is God, because how can anything not be God? Where is God not? I realized that I had spent time praying, meditating, whatever, and always feeling I needed to do more. Dying taught me that I am already there. I am it. I am connected to God, to the all that is, all the time, even if I'm in the bathroom, even if I'm angry, even if I'm not praying and meditating,
I
I'm
just
still
felt so
connected.
naughty when you said that. Like God's in the bathroom? I was like, the lightning strike's going to come down. But again, that's the cultural conditioning.
Yes.
Is that, we're not supposed to say certain things, right? As if it cared.
As if
it had a personal opinion about that.
And it has no ego, and it's not something or someone that is going to judge us that we don't worship it and so on, because it is us.